Hello everyone and welcome to the chassis variant series of myself, Critical Rocket, and here we are with the Nova. Now I did say on the previous chassis videos that we were going to be going to a clan mech. Originally that was going to be the Shadow Cat, but it turned out there were no variants, unfortunately, of the Shadow Cat that were really viable, even with Omnipods, to make a MechWarrior line, so unfortunately couldn't do that one. So we've moved straight to the 50 tonners, and I thought I'd go with the classic, the Nova. There are other options obviously available, but I wanted to do this one first. It's one of the all-time classics. It was one of the original Invasion mechs, and it's still a pretty damn good mech by today's standards. Even in MechWarrior Online, you still see plenty of Novas moving around. And this is the version that I found was quite interesting. This is the H variant. This is basically a heavy-medium laser version of the Prime. Rather than having 12 ER mediums, it has 10 heavy mediums, which still makes it insanely dangerous to to come up against. The mech is still retains its speed, its jump jet maneuverability, and it has a few extra heat sinks in there. I believe it's 6 extra heat sinks in total to try and keep the 10 heavy mediums under control. Essentially what you end up doing is running with you can run it with firing 5 of them in one arm, and you'll get quite the heat spike, but obviously the damage payout is quite high. And you can run the other arm as a sort of single shot type thing. But yeah, it's not something that you could fire one after the other. The 12 ER mediums with the right quirks and the right heatsink numbers and skills, you can just about get away with firing 6 and then 6 a second or so later. But this, you can't fire 5 and then 5 a few seconds later. It's way too big a heat spike with the heavy mediums. But the damage output is incredible for its weight class, and if you get the right match with this thing, you can absolutely tear ass, especially in a brawl. Nowadays, Novas are used a bit more harassment style, I've noticed, or they'll have a very, very different build setup to what you traditionally see with Novas, which was usually as energy boats. That they'll have a little bit more going on with them, so they tend to not get picked on straight away. I've noticed anyway. Most people tend to go for some of the other heavier clan mechs in a brawl, so you can really get in there and then start just like lacing enemies with a lot of energy fire, doing a hell of a lot of damage very quickly. Yeah, this thing is fun. It's definitely worth it, even if it's not a serious build that you'd play. It's definitely something that you'd probably enjoy just as a mess about, honestly. There's not really much background to it, outside the fact that obviously heavy laser technology became a thing, and obviously one of the first things to do was to upgrade what would be, by the clan standards at that point, the older design of the older variant of the Nova by giving it some extra firepower, essentially. And yeah, that was pretty much the idea. As you can see, it melts through. Well, that right arm is such a punch. Or left arm, depending on your preference there, of course. So, yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. As I said, there's not really much to say about it. That's one of the frustrating things about the clan stuff. Is in the past, there used to be bits of information you can throw out there, but really, there isn't a lot. It's just one of the things about Omnimax, so. If we wanted to talk about something else, I think we'll see the Nova in MechWarrior 5, to be honest. A lot of people have asked the question about will there be clan mechs, and considering PGI have not outright said no, there won't be any clan mechs. They said, oh, we'll see. Yeah, it's pretty much saying that, yeah, we're going to see clan mechs. Like, post-story completion, there'll probably be contracts that generate on the fringes, like, if you go to the northern sectors of the map, probably, there'll be contracts that you get and like, oh no, clan max, kind of thing. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. And if PGI really don't give clan max to players at launch of MechWarrior 5, let's say modders will do that work for everybody anyway. So, will we see them in one way or another? Yeah, definitely. If not as some kind of post-campaign DLC. Yeah, one of the problems is you lose the side torso on this thing, you don't have the heat to handle the weapons anymore and you die. But I think my damage was pretty damn good. I think you know, used by someone who's a more regular Nova player, who obviously uses the mech more often and understands the positioning of the arms and the way to move around with this thing, yeah, I think they could do some phenomenal damage in this thing, get some really, really good kills. I was kind of surprised it wasn't offered as a loyalty variant, to be perfectly honest, because that's what the Nova, I think, does best, is just gets up there and does what a lot of the clan mechs do these days, which is laser vomit. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We're going to get to the scoreboard now. I don't know what that Piranha, I think it was Piranha and our team was doing at the end. I've mentioned in the past the preview box, man, it's tiny little window so I can see running, but I can't see all the details. But yeah, I think my damage was pretty good. Hope you all enjoyed that. Have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.